What's going on, people? Good morning. Welcome to the Morning View. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to United View.
No. It's Morning View. He's done it. He's done it again.
Do you know why,
He's
though?
done
Do you
it
know
again.
why?
It's
Do you know
the
why, right?
Transfer View.
Yeah, but you know what, though?
Rebranded. We're different.
Yeah, we are different. But guess what? You know what? What pissing transfers are we talking about? We're talking about the manager. And we're talking about...
Swear? How dare you swear 30
well,
seconds
I've
into
had
the show.
enough. I've had enough, right? I've had enough, right? We're going back to the Morning View until we put in a bid for a player. I've changed my mind. That's what we're doing now. We're not doing that. It is the Transfer View. But do you know what? It kind of doesn't feel like it. I'm not really selling this Transfer View thing quite well, am I? But the truth is, I hear where you're coming from. And that's where my mind has been more on the manager and like what's going on in this 50-50 thing than actually talking about transfers. So that is my bad. I'm sort of like, I feel like I can't get to the transfer mode yet because we're still like, who the hell's the flipping manager going to be? But big up to the Transfer View. Big up back to the channel. And I hope you guys are good. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good weekend. It's been nice, isn't it? It's not like there's been any reports happening or anything to talk about or any progress or any rumors or nothing. It's been fairly quiet. Yeah. Unbelievable weekend. Unbelievable. So much has happened. As you know, it's just an understatement with how crazy it's been. We're going to be talking about a decision for Erik ten Hag coming at some point. Maybe it's going to be this week. Oh, it's expected this week. Oh, it's expected next week. Oh, it's expected the week after. But there's an update on that. Thomas Tuchel and Poch rejected. Our survey says. Insane news yesterday. Loads of journalists going big on it. Sancho, 40 million asking price, and everything else in between. So there's literally so much. You know, a bit of Luke Shaw. I want to talk about that as well when you said about the medical team. So, Owen, we've got a jam-packed transfer view for you this morning.
Yes, we do. Yesterday was a crazy day. And actually, I say it was a crazy day. It was a crazy, what, hour and a half? Like it all happened in an hour and a half and snowboard. And we're going to try in the next couple of minutes to give you the best chronology of what happened yesterday. Because again, it was very much like this happened and that happened and that happened and that happened and then nothing happened, basically. So let's start. Christian Falk was the first person to say yesterday that there was this meeting in Monaco last Tuesday between Thomas Tuchel and the new Manchester United shareholder, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Now, Tuchel in this meeting revealed his plans if he were to take over the coaching position in the event that Erik ten Hag was sacked. He was said, Tuchel, to have explained how he could fix some of the sporting problems like Jadon Sancho, get Mason Mount back on track. He spoke about his past record of getting players, really specifically Antonio Rudiger, someone that he had really succeeded with in the past.
He actually did as well. He did as well.
Yeah. So this happened, and everyone went, well, you know, look, Christian Falk. It's kind of ironically enough with him, it is yes and no, whether he's accurate or not. So it was like, well, we shall see. But turns out it was legitimate. Talks indeed did happen. And this was further brought up by Mike Keegan and from the Times. Then, just as everyone's starting to go, wow, there's something in these Thomas Tuchel stories, Fabrizio Romano, bang, straight away goes, Thomas Tuchel is not planning to take the Manchester United job. He wants to take a break and not do any coaching for any club this summer. He currently decided not to continue after talks with Manchester United in recent weeks. And then Romano also said United are deciding on a decision with Erik ten Hag's future very, very soon. So why did Thomas Tuchel decide to actually take a break? Was it because he went, you know what, I just want to take a break? Or was it really more Manchester United decided that they didn't want Thomas Tuchel? Well, at the Times, who did clarify and did confirm that talks had taken place, very quickly then said Manchester United no longer consider Thomas Tuchel a potential replacement for Erik ten Hag after this meeting between Tuchel and Sir Jim Ratcliffe in Monaco last Tuesday. Furthermore, it said it's understood that Tuchel left the meeting with the sense he was not going to be Manchester United's choice should they decide to sack Erik ten Hag. Now he's decided to take a break from management. So it then becomes a situation of, did Thomas Tuchel decide to take a break, or did Manchester United say thanks, but no thanks? And then Thomas Tuchel got out ahead of him and said, oh, I'm taking a break anyway. I don't really care. It's kind of like, she didn't break up with me, I broke up with her kind of situation. with that one. So that moves on. Who else then? Well, Mauricio Pochettino, according to Jason Burt from The Telegraph, he is saying, when summarizing all of this stuff yesterday, that it is unlikely that Manchester United will appoint Pochettino as their next manager. Poch was back at Stamford Bridge yesterday for Soccer Aid, but it looks like he's not going to be back at Old Trafford this coming season to replace Erik ten Hag. Now, Ten Hag, what about him? Well, he is back off his holiday at this point, and in the same article, Jason Burt has said that Manchester United are arguing they will not be rushed into a decision on Erik ten Hag's future, and that response to that one is, no shit. We're 3 weeks after the Champions League final. Definitely not being rushed on a decision for that. What about Gareth Southgate? Well, Oliver Kay from The Athletic is saying there are members of the United hierarchy who have given serious consideration to Gareth Southgate. Now, in charge of England, this is his words, not mine, he has excelled in the type of environment management that Ratcliffe and Brailsford hold dear, but doubts persist about whether he is an elite-level coach with the steely single-mindedness that would be needed week in and week out to drag United back to the summit of English or European football. Beyond all that, there are obvious complications involved with trying to appoint him, particularly with Euro 2024 about to begin. A move for Southgate looks a non-starter, but not out of a lack of regard for him. Basically saying it's just a case of circumstance, not ability, for Gareth Southgate not
Well,
being
thank
appointed.
God for the circumstances then.
I know, literally. What about Roberto De Zerbi? Well, as Oliver Kay writes, De Zerbi, an excellent coach again, but one that Liverpool overlooked along with Tuchel, in part because they feared he was too combustible to work within their structure. The rancor and discord that precipitated his departure from Brighton and Hove Albion suggested he would be an unlikely fit for a new regime at United, and still, he is one of the names under consideration. But it's this ending point from Oliver Kay, which I think sums all of this up, Flex. Even to consider such contrasting figures such as Southgate and De Zerbi before ending up in deep negotiations with Thomas Tuchel suggests a severe lack of clarity on the part of Ratcliffe and co, as if the only certainty in their minds is they want rid of Erik ten Hag. So it's very
kind of Bayern Munich-ish.
It's
like, you know, like
exactly.
they went through all the managers and then they ended up at what's his face? Company.
Or the step before Company was, okay, we looked around, we couldn't find anyone. Do you want to stay, Eric? You know, and what kind of circumstances is that in? I mean, what a mess. I mean, we're going to get seemingly some answer this week. I know we've said that the last couple of weeks, so who knows? But my goodness me, what is going on, Flex?
And it's not, you know, some can say like, oh yeah, they're doing a good job of like, we don't know what's going to happen, so this is good for Minios. No, we're finding out who they've been talking to, when they've spoken to them, what was said. You know, they're still not being pushed into it. So everything is out there, but there's still a severe lack of clarity. What I will say about what let's rewind because there was so much to take in that bit. Let's go to the start. The Tuchel bit. We'll never know. We'll never know whether they had the conversations and said, yeah, it just doesn't align. This isn't going to work, actually. It's the long-term vision plus how we're trying to change. You are an elite coach, but it's not right. Then he went and changed his story and said, didn't want a job anyway, mate. Don't want to manage anyone in the rest. Or, you know, because that's the briefing that Romano has obviously got, but the Times have gone with something else. We don't know. We will never know. What we do know is that the next manager, all we can do is the facts that we need to know. It's not going to be Thomas Tuchel. It's not. Thomas Tuchel's not going to become the next Man United manager because both things are both saying that. They're just saying it for different reasons. So we can get involved in, do you think that he sat and spoke to them and said that? It's really null and void, isn't it, really? Doesn't matter. The real thing we want to know is he going to be our manager or not? And the answer is no. So he's gone off into the sunset for his sabbatical. When I saw that, I tweeted it, and I was like, for me, that's it. Because Tuchel was the only one for me that, in my opinion, that if they did get rid of Erik ten Hag, that I see as like a top coach at this stage, at this moment in time. But now when you see it with De Zerbi and Poch left essentially, and Southgate, we're not even going there. Like, I don't see why. I don't see how you can appoint those over Erik ten Hag. But like that bit what Oliver Kay says, when you fast forward sift through all of that information and get to the end, that is the one thing that is glaringly obvious. They are going through person after person after person, which means that, well, we'll keep going until we find we're going to get someone. It's not him, right? We'll talk to the next one. It's not him, right? Then they're getting to the end of all of them and going, kind of not that great, are they? Well, we'll just stick with Eric. Like, do you know what I mean? And this is what we spoke about on a Trinity when we were saying to
I
KG,
was
and
just about to
you
say,
spoke about it
yeah,
of like, how do you think this makes Eric Ten Hag feel? And
yeah.
there's A and B to that. The A is like it's Man United. He understands that this can happen. He just wants to show them how powerful he can be. I don't care, even if you doubt me. You watch what I do now. Or the thing that we painted to KG, like he's in the Netflix series, and they want to change it, but he's done so well already a bit, and he's got stuff to fall back on, and believes in himself. And he was like, "Yeah, actually, when you put it like that, I'd be like, I have 2 fingers up to you, lot, man. You don't even want me anyway." So imagine after all of this, we need to be careful. Ten Hag don't just go, you know what? This is a mess. You clearly don't want me. My dignity is worth more than this. I know I'm a winner. I know I'm the right guy. But if you don't believe me, I'm off. And then we do have to go, shit, Poch or Deserby, who we didn't actually really want. And then you actually get forced into a thing they didn't even really want to do. They need to be careful with that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that was kind of the point I was going to bring up, as we spoke about it on the Trinity of Friday. And I think that it's almost the overlooked part of it, isn't it, about Eric Ten Hag's feelings? You know what I mean? Because we look at, what Sir Jim thinks and what Sir Dave Brailsford thinks and what Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox. And arguably they're the more important party because they have the power to make those decisions. But I look at the Thomas Tuchel situation at Bayern Munich, and they circled back to him. And at one point, it looked like he was going to stay. And then Thomas Tuchel said himself in the press conferences, yeah, we had some chats, but we couldn't come to an agreement because you've got all the leverage, you've got all the power. And rightfully so. You sit there going, you were speaking to all of these different people. I mean, imagine this was a relationship. I've decided I'm going to settle down with you, but I know you were talking to everyone. Like, that doesn't make me feel good. Like, doesn't make me feel good. And I don't feel like
but my decision is that I stayed with you, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I know that,
You get me?
but
Yeah, exactly. I know that. It just, and then long term, because I think if he stays, I mentioned this before, if he stays, I don't think he immediately gets a new contract or anything like that. So what are we building upon then? Like, what are we moving going forward? And the first question Eric Ten Hag will be asked in these press conferences is like, Eric, you're still here. Did you ever have any doubts? And obviously you go, no, I speak to him all the time, all that kind of stuff. But you would know it's bullshit.
said that last time.
Let's not pretend like Eric Ten Hag doesn't have the capability to just to lie through his teeth because journalists do it back to him, and he really doesn't care about the journalists at this point. So it is quite farcical. I mean, the timeline there of how it happened yesterday was insane. Like the Tuchel stuff, then all of the journalists piling on. Yes, the meeting did happen and very quickly, but he's not going to be the manager, which definitely did feel like a specific party trying to get out there very quickly ahead of the other. And then the Pochettino stuff suddenly just looks unlikely. And then to your point, then you go, well, okay. I remember way before this, a couple of months ago, one of Ineos's reservations was the lack of alternatives, isn't it? There's no alternatives out there. That's one of the things we're thinking about. There's not a lot of alternatives out there. And then suddenly there was. Suddenly there was some alternatives out there. And maybe that's why they've looked at the other parties because, well, there were some options. There's no option. Well, there's limited options now. And to your point, the options that are out there, you have the reservations of, well, how different is this going to be? How much of an upgrade is this going to be? And then you fall into the territory of, are you just making a change for the sake of making a change? Or are you doing it because you think it's the best decision and the right decision? And either way, I do think they've made a bit of a pig's ear out of this. Once again, I think they'll be very frustrated, and there'll be a very eye-opening experience just to how quickly information can get out there when it comes to Manchester United. Like once the story breaks, everyone's got it and everyone knows everything, and it's that quick. And now you would hope it would be this week that a decision would be made. What that looks like, whether again it's a statement that he's gone, whether it's a journo saying. Put it this way, actually. Lots of people are saying, oh, if Eric Ten Hag's staying, we won't hear anything. If Eric Ten Hag is staying, it will be communicated essentially the same way that Tuchel not coming to United yesterday was communicated. That's how it will get communicated. Someone will tell a journalist, whether it's Romano, whether it's Ornstein, it'll be put out there, and then it's done. Boom.
Ten Hag expected to stay.
That'll be it.
And then Romano will be like, Ten Hag stays 100% confirmed. United board decided on Friday that they see Ten Hag as the right candidate, point, and whatever it is.
With Tuchel now, we know Tuchel's not going to be the manager. Like
Yeah.
nothing officially has been said,
No,
but we
he's
know
just not gonna be
he's
the
not
manager.
going to be the manager. So it'll be the same thing with Eric Ten Hag. One of those
Yeah.
bigger name journalists will say it, and not even like ambiguous about it as well. He is going to stay on. They go, right, it's done. Like, man, I don't need
Yeah.
to say anything in that
You
regard.
just
Then
leave it.
that'll
Yeah.
be it.
And they don't want to say anything, do they? Really? Let's face it. They don't want to have to come out and say, "Yeah, well, we were trying to get rid of the manager. Now we're officially announcing that we're not. He's staying." That's not. It's not going to be that.
After
David
conducting a
Lee.
season review, we've decided to keep
Exactly.
Eric Ten Hag.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. They're just going to move on. David Lee's the latest member of the UV Members Club. Big up to you, David. Welcome to the family. All Elite says it's not. It's all looking a little shoddy, a little Woodwardy. Some might say. Thanks for all the content as always, boys. You're my favourite duo. Glory, glory, Man United, and glory, glory, United View. And All Elite's been a member for 21 months as well. Nothing but love for you, bro. Yeah, it is shoddy. Shoddy is putting it lightly. OnlyFans KG and one-time football bingo winner has been a member for 17 months and says, Ineos are moving like KG on a treadmill. It's not looking good, bruv. I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen KG
on a treadmill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I've seen him on a treadmill. He's powerful. He's fit. He's fit,
Yeah.
man. He can
Yeah.
run. He can
Yeah.
run. Don't let KG's, you know what I mean, stature fool you into like he's unfit and can't run and do like rowing and fucking hit classes and guys fit. Kishan, been a member for 12 months. Kishan says, do you not think this continual undermining of Eric Ten Hag will now give these players more of a reason to challenge his authority if we keep him after this?
It's not ideal, is it? It's not ideal.
Yeah, because, you know, they're like, you shouldn't be here and this, that, and the other. But it all depends then. Again, football moves so quickly. For me, Kishan, that depends on like how they shape the squad in this new look Man United. Do they start shipping players out where it's like, just because Eric's the manager and you think you can get away with X, Y, Z? Nah, mate. Like, you lot's cards are marked. Yep, we've accepted a bid for you. You're off. You're not getting a new deal. Look who we've brought in. You can see what we're on. So, and if Eric starts more ruthless with them, then if Eric starts doing that with them, then they become more like shit. Even though he stayed, we're not in the control of this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and also as well, again, I do get the point though. It is a bit concerning because it's like the substitute teacher kind of situation. He'd still be a permanent manager, but you wonder how long he's going to be there for. You know, because again, if the reason he stays is primarily down to, well, we just couldn't really find anyone else, but if we did, we would have let him go. Then players will know that of like, well, if a good manager comes up, Eric might be done. He might be gone. Like, some, you know what I mean? Something like that. That is a problem. Can be a problem.
You there? Sorry,
I'm
my
here.
phone was going off. I'm trying to.
I was going to say, I heard someone clicking, and I thought, I think Flex has got like a call or something. Like, this is my thing. I've said
coming through
10 million times. This is what I've said. Yeah, Apple products, yeah, are a disgrace. Is what they are. That's what it is. When they link to all this stuff, they ruin stuff. It's terrible. It's a disgrace. Is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Georges says they are treating Ten Hag like she's not your girl. It's just your turn. Yeah, they are. Daniel Luciano had been a member for 16 months. Daniel says, no matter the outcome at this point, the time taken, it's embarrassing. Side note, well done to you, Flex. Well done by you, Flex, on the menu video. Important, it's pointed out. Yeah, big up to you. And Akash says, ball is in Eric Ten Hag's corner to accept new powers in role. Well, it isn't because it, like I said, this hasn't been like this because they've gone in and said, right, Eric, if you want to stay here, it's on you because this is how we want to run it. You're either in or you're out. Let us know by July the whatever. That's not what's happened. What's happened is that's one part of it that if Eric Ten Hag does indeed stay, he has to accept the new stipulations. But the other half has clearly been all of this. All of this. We're talking to this manager. We're talking to that. You can go on your holiday. You've got no reassurances before the FA Cup final. You're going to get sacked. Like that's actually what he's dealing with. That's the truth. It's not. I don't think it is Akash. Like it's just in his corner because even if he essentially wants to stay because he still hasn't walked away. Do you know what I mean? So he's like, I do believe he wants to be Man United manager, but we've sort of discussed the notion of like, actually, would that run out? How long Do you know what I mean?
Well,
How
he's
long does he go?
also
Hang on, you're taking the piss out of me.
that's what I was just about to say. He has been, let's be honest, he has been incredibly undermined in the last couple of
100, he's
weeks.
been
Like,
hung out to dry, mate.
and don't get me wrong, because I know what the reaction by some is going to be of, well, it doesn't matter, he finished 8th and all this kind of stuff, and I get that, but whilst you're in the job, you know, and to his point, he might go, look, I won the FA Cup and I did get us into Europe. It's not Champions League and it wasn't a good season, but you know, some of the stuff I was saying turned out to be accurate and this, that, and the other. Like, it's more a case of the way I'm looking at the moment is that the word environment is being thrown around by Ineos so much, right? Isn't it? And you sort of go, well, is this the ideal environment to succeed for him in that seat right now, based knowing that there was people above him that didn't want him to be there, or even if he stays, doesn't want him to be there? And I just think that, you know, I look at that and go, that's going to be a sort of a frosty place. You know what I mean? But that is the kind of mess Ineos have made for themselves, really, by talking to all of these other people. And yeah, it's just, it's not an ideal start to the summer, is it? It's not an ideal start to the summer at all.
No. We've got just under 400 likes, guys. Let's push that way up. Let's keep going. That's a decent start. 79% of you have said, yes, I've liked the video. So big up to you guys. 21% of you said, I'm doing it now. So if you have just joined, there's 1,600 of you and counting. Keep pushing it up. Keep pushing those likes up. Share the video. Drop it in your group chats. Let your friends know that you're watching. And let's try and push to 1,800 plus, maybe 2K watching live. Let's push the numbers up, guys. You can do it. And get your super chats in, and get your members chats in. Use those perks as well. So much opinion. Let me go to the comment section as well, because again, we have a lot of perks if you remember. A lot of perks if you pay for a super chat, of course, but a lot of perks just by subscribing to the channel. Happy Coden says, talking to other managers is normal in that situation. They would tell Eric Ten Hag they will talk to others if he doesn't agree. Man United Ultra says, Ineos started very well, to be honest. The ball's falling off in this last couple of weeks. That's true. Do you know what? Because we were really praising Ineos for the first, types of decisions they made. And when the Omar Barada thing happened, we went, wow, these guys mean business. Flipping heck, how'd they get him and nobody knew? That is crazy. Going after Dan Ashworth is taking a bit long, but we understand why. Jason Wilcott's in through the door, started before the end of the season. Getting rid of John Murto, Richard Arnold, all those guys. We was like, they mean business. They're on it. And you're right, Man United Ultra. This last little bit, this last 2 weeks has been like, 3 now, is like, bit dodgy here.
I stand by that, by the way, because this was something I said on a transfer review last week, and I got a bit of pushback for this because, again, there's a lot of frustration, a lot of anger.
Because they're just saying they're just like the Glazers.
Yeah. Exactly. And I went, well, I think that's quite broad strokes, and I don't think that's completely accurate. And it's not as if, again, a couple of months ago, we weren't praising them for, like I said, bringing those people in. And I still think bringing those people in long term is a good move for Manchester United because they are better, in my opinion, particularly when it comes to their CV, than John Murto, than Richard Arnold. They are footballing people. So it's like this notion, once again, of there can be several things true at the same time, can't there? Going, well, I think long term, bring those people in, that will be better. But on this aspect of it, how this sort of managerial situation has been handled, it's not been great. Like, there's been now 2 occasions where quite major stuff, major meetings have leaked out, and there is this uncertainty that, when it's like 3 games left of the season and there's uncertainty around the manager, you can kind of go, well, season's ongoing, so you kind of understand it, can't you? But when it's been 3 weeks after the season has ended and those questions are still the exact same questions, that's when you start to go, like, what's going on here, guys? What are we doing? Now, are there some mitigating circumstances? I suppose to an extent. Like you would say, mentioned Dan Ashworth, Omar Barada, they're not technically in yet. So that's something that they might point to. But at the same time, you're looking at Jim Ratcliffe and Dave Brailsford. You go, mate, you've been here since February. Like we said Friday on the Trinity. What more new data do you need? What else are you looking for? Apart from, you have made your mind up there, Eric Ten Hag's not the guy. You're just looking for the right guy.
You can't find find the right guy.
Who's the right guy going to be? Because, again, they did the meeting with Tuchel, and clearly they came out of it going, no, he's not the right guy. And they're looking at these other people going, no, they're not the right guy. Well, eventually, if you can't find the right guy, then you've got to stick with what you've got. But is that the environment for Ten Hag to succeed when he's in a job knowing that they don't really want me here?
And then for Ten Hag, that's just a sink or swim. It's like, well, the people who make the decisions, you can get rid of me at any moment. By the way, if I have a bad 5 results in a row, they're going to get rid of me anyway. It's just on to him. And I suppose I'm talking like if I was talking to him, but I would just say to him, listen, it's not ideal. These new guys have come in. Maybe it's a chance where they can learn, but give them every reason to look at themselves by looking at you with the improvements you've made in the 3rd season, hopefully, and say, well, all that deliberating, we were wrong. This guy's bailed us out. Look how good he can be. And hopefully they give you the environment and the tools to do it. They've got off on a bad foot. There's no doubt about that. In terms of with the manager, they've got off on a bad foot now. You can't say he hasn't. But if I was talking to Ten Hag, I'd say, listen, go back out there. You've always, look how bullish you've been in the media. You've always been in the notion that when you get your players back, you can improve the team. This is a new look Man United with a new structure and a new strategy of how to buy players. So buy into it, try and embrace it, try and get what you need. Hopefully you get the backing to do it because it's a two-way thing. And show them they were wrong. Show them, sure. let them see, you know what I mean? But that's what I'd say to him, but he's a human being. He could go sod that. Nah.
Do you know what does worry me though, Flex? And I still don't hold a lot in it because I just can't believe that they would do this. But the Gareth Southgate stuff, it is worrying. I can't lie. It is worrying. You know what I mean with like the more time that goes on. Yeah. That's the thing that worries me. It's not necessarily the fact of like, they'll definitely. It's the time aspect of this because, like that report said, if legitimately one of the biggest factors of Gareth Southgate not being in discussions or having at least a crack at this is the fact that the Euros are on, that is horrifying. That is honestly horrifying.
Yeah. That he's even a person they would consider if there was no Euros.
Yeah, it's just the international tournament. No, it's nothing to do with the international tournament. It's not good. That's the problem. It's
and that keeps coming out all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
That they admire him and they do think this of him. They do, But then in the same breath, they said, but they think that he's going to struggle to have the elite sort of level of thing day in, day out. Well, then he's not good enough, then, is he?
Well, honestly, and what does worry me, legitimately worry me, it's like, we can't find the alternative. Eric, just stay on. He's only got a year left on his contract anyway. And if it does go to shit, come, September, October time, boom. Look at Thomas Tuchel when he was at Chelsea. How many games did he last in that season? Was it like 4 or 5? Yeah. Suddenly Gareth's available. Oh, yeah, it is what it is. Like, Owen, that is horrible.
He ain't going to be a manager.
That's the thing that I'm going with. I'm just going, surely not. I'm going, surely not. I watched England play against Iceland, so bad. And do you know what really confused me? Of again, we spoke about the journalists, I think, really, really well, and the media, and we know what they are. It's just a disgrace. And then I saw a thing on Sky Sports News, and they're going, "I've never seen an England side this unprepared for a major tournament." I'm going, wait a minute. Like literally 3 days ago, you're waxing poetic about how prepared, how great Gareth is, and this, that, and the other. Now it's massively underprepared. I'm going, what? And also, I'm like, how is this new? We've seen this. England have won 1 in their last 5 games. I remember in the Nations League prior to the last World Cup, we didn't win a game.
Yeah.
We got licked. New.
Who was it? Didn't Hungary come to Wolves and smash us 3-0, 4-0?
It was like 4-0. Yeah, and honestly, that Iceland team, they beat us what? They could beat us like 2-0, 3-0 in that game. Like
Iceland, Iceland.
And it's like, and that's why I look at it. So that is when you get, as KG would say, the bombastic side eye. Because you look at him and go, you cannot tell me you're watching this and have watched England play for the last 18 months. Oh, for me, it's been way longer. But let's just take the last 18 months and go, that's what United need.
We need that. Yeah.
Screw the environment bullshit, okay? Same energy like it is with Ten Hag or any other manager. The currency of football is results and trophies. And Gareth Southgate doesn't win trophies. And you can say, well, England don't win trophies, fine. But even recently, he don't even get results. And we're saying, but because the players, because players like going to work, then that's the criteria to become the Manchester United manager. Oh my God. Flex.
So you don't want Southgate?
No.
Owen always finds a way to get back to that Southgate thing. and just let off the steam. But Owen, I'm telling you now, Fleck, yeah, I'm telling you now, Owen, trust me when I say this. Well, choose to trust me if you like. Don't worry, guys. This won't get clipped. Don't worry. Gareth Southgate won't be our next manager.
My feeling
He
is
won't.
that England will just be so rubbish in this Euros that that'll be a non-starter. You know what I mean? Because I was saying it for weeks. Like for me, England, this Euros quarterfinals at best. I really do believe that.
Imagine they
Quarterfinals at
win
best.
it, because how we're seeing it. Imagine they win it, yeah. Then it would make him, according to Ineos, it would make him numero uno target. The
Oh,
first manager to
get
deliver
knighthood.
something
Get
since
knighthood.
'66.
Get knighthood. It'll be
You
Sir
get
Jim,
MBE.
Sir Dame, Sir Gareth. That's what it would be.
Listen, I don't want to talk about this anymore
Ain't
because
gonna
he's not going
happen.
to be our manager. It's not going to happen. Court Star says, big up Flex, Owen and UV fam. Respect for the Flex's view yesterday. The media are an absolute disgrace. Big up to everyone with, showing some love. Not for me, for the situation. I don't need the gratification and the pats on the back. I'm just doing what I feel's right, not what's easy. So big up to everyone. If you haven't watched that video from yesterday, check it out. Right, Jadon Sancho. We've spoken about Tuchel and Poch being rejected, haven't we? That was all in that
It
same
was
bit, or was it
encompassing.
not?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I didn't know if you had anything extra on that. Sancho asking price. We've got some reports on that.
Yeah,
haven't we,
this
about
was
the actual
quite interesting, particularly when it comes from the sources, because it really it's from Man United, really through these outlets. So first of which was from Simon Stone, and as we've said many a time, Simon Stone, if he's reporting something, it's because he's called up Man United and gone, "What's going on with this?"
Yeah.
They've gone, "This." Can I say that on the
Yeah.
record? Yes.
Yes.
So he said,
Exactly how it works.
Manchester United have put a £40 million price tag on exiled winger Jadon Sancho. It had been thought Sancho's Old Trafford future would be linked to Ten Hag's, with the Dutchman still to discover whether he will get the chance to fulfill the final year of his contract. However, BBC Sport understands United will look to sell Sancho this summer, no matter who the manager is, and want £40 million for the England international. Dortmund are keen for Sancho to return next season, but are looking for another loan deal. United want a straight sale, knowing transfer funds will be limited because of financial fair play restrictions. This was also, again, said by Fabrizio Romano yesterday, who had clearly got the same thing from Manchester United, saying Manchester United remain 100% decided on selling Jadon Sancho this summer, regardless of who is the manager. The United board are looking for £40 million fee to let Sancho leave, with interest from Borussia Dortmund, but also from other clubs. So that kind of answers the question, Flex. We were talking about previously.
Question. Yeah.
Again, is it is it what's going on with Sancho? Is it going to be if Ten Hag's there? Isn't there? What's going on with that? Would you bring him back if you were Thomas Tuchel, Pochettino, or whoever the next manager is going to be? Are Ineos going to take that out of their hands? And there you go. That is literally Ineos have decided.
What was that? It's like your mic just spiked a bit. It's gone now. Yeah,
I'm
weird.
very.
I don't know if anyone else heard that or if that was just me.
But
you're right. You're right. That's exactly what's happened.
Yeah, they've decided literally, no, we're not too much baggage, or let's move on.
Yeah.
Or like with the Greenwood thing we were saying the other day, wasn't it? Of just going, we've earmarked certain players for fundraising this summer. Sanchez is one of them. Greenwood's one of them.
They're important to that.
They're going to be sold.
Yeah, they're important to that. And yeah, it just the same way how we said, well, we don't really know which way around this bit or that went. What we do know is that Thomas Tuchel is just not going to be the manager. Whatever the price is going to be and who's going to buy him, what we know is he's not going to be a Man United player. And that whole line there of regardless of who the manager is, and like you said, someone like Thomas Tuchel said, yeah, I can get Mason Mount going. Oh, when I was at Bayern, I wouldn't have minded having Sancho from Dortmund. I'd like him. I can. Nope. We've just if you are going to be a new manager here, these are the players you will have. Just to let you know, I think you said just to let you know, you won't have Mason Greenwood, you won't have Sancho. Leave those away. Like you will have X, Y, Z. However, even all them players, if the price is right, I can't guarantee you any player is going to stay. Really, let's be honest. Only a couple. Like you will have Kobe, you will have Garnacho, you will have Rasmus vibe. That's really what it is. You will have Lisandro Martinez. You will have Mason Mount. Like things like that. Obviously, you will have Onana. There's stuff like that, but like there's a good chunk of the squad that like if they are talking to new managers, or even if it's just Eric, and Eric will be like, yeah, that's fine. We're open to selling quite a lot. If the right money comes in for Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Casemiro, Eriksen, McTominay, that's 6. Who knows with Luke Shaw? Who knows? I don't think he'll go this summer. But if someone, just say someone tried to test resolve and put in 30 million for Luke Shaw or something, I don't know. Maybe they would look at it. Anthony, if someone actually did table an offer, I know Anthony can make it difficult. But so that's 8 players that I could think of. Then you got the kids like, Facundo and who else is there on loan now? Hannibal?
Yeah,
Is
Hannibal.
Hannibal permanent? Is he coming back?
Hannibal's coming back. Then you're looking at
Yeah.
people like Donny. You're going to see what you can
Donny,
do.
there you go.
You
So
know,
that's 9. There's the Bayern
yeah,
there. I know
yeah.
it doesn't matter, but I'm just saying that's just another one. So it's like Malacia. He's had a bad season with injury. Do you loan him, let him get some games, and then bring in this new person? There's just so much for a new manager / Eric for Ineos to say. There's not a lot of guarantees. So the fact that back to Jadon Sancho, we're saying that he's going to leave, it's probably for the best. And again, you look at the player side of it as well. I know that decision's been made from that side of it, but also Jadon Sancho probably don't want to come back no matter who the manager is. As well,
I know
because you have to have
exactly.
minerals. You said it so many times that you have to have minerals to play for this squad, the staying power, the mentality, and this is not just labeled at Jadon Sancho. This is labeled at a lot of the players in this period who have underperformed. Loads. Rashford needs minerals right now to have some consistency. Bruno needs minerals right now. The young players coming up, like you need a certain level of minerals to play for Man United. And if you decide that it's not for you and you've had a bad 2 years and you want to get back to just enjoying your football and playing week in, week out, you're not going to choose Man United when it's going through all of this change. And for someone like Jadon Sancho, who would absolutely want to be at Dortmund or, I don't know, AC Milan or Atletico Madrid, or I don't know
Yeah,
where it is if
yeah.
Dortmund don't cough up, but
Mm.
wherever it is, he don't want to be at United.
No, again, I mentioned it a lot of the times before. I just feel like United, for a lot of these things that have happened over the last several years, just need to move on. Just go, right, okay, well, it didn't
Mm.
work out. And the thing is, that's all right to say in football. I mean, the thing is with United is it
We
didn't
say
work
it too
out as a
often.
phrase. We've used that too often for United players, and
Yeah.
I get that. But you just got to go. You have to remember, we do, I think, as fans, we can't have it both ways. We're going this summer going, well, there's so much surgery we need to do on the squad. There's so many players we need to bring in. We need to do this. We need to do that. We need to do that. And then you go, okay, but we don't have a lot of money, so a lot of that we might not be able to do unless we get rid of these players. Then you bring up these players, so like Sancho or Greenwood or this or that, they've got to go. And then you get, no, I don't want to let them go. Well, then you're not going to get that much surgery done in the squad. Like that's
Exactly.
you're
You
gonna
can't move on.
like with the manager situation. You've got to make a decision. You've got to make a choice. And then, like you said, I think sometimes the player side isn't thought about that often. And sometimes with the players, Jadon Sancho, the idea of come back to United, I'm sure in his mind, and obviously I'm not Jadon Sancho, I don't know, but I'm sure there's part of him going, well, if I maybe come back under the right circumstances, under the right conditions. But with Sancho, it wasn't just a Ten Hag thing as to why it didn't work out at United, because it didn't work out under other managers too. It didn't work out. And what's best for him, as we've seen in the 6 months he's been at Dortmund, what's best for him is to be away from Manchester United and to be in a different environment, work under different coaches, under a different structure, to get the best out of him, and ultimately just to be happy playing football again. And then from United's point of view, they need to try and get as much money as they possibly can. So it's one of those ones where it's best for all parties. It's best for all parties if they can get that money,
Move on.
and
Yeah,
move on. And try and bring another player in or look to other parts of the squad that they can reinvest that money into. So it's still, I don't know about you, I see 40 million Jadon Sancho and I go, oh man, maybe we could be a bit more than that. Maybe still young.
Yeah, his stocks have
But
fallen. Like we forget that these players' stocks have fallen. Like
yeah,
he's not the same Jadon Sancho where he was twisting everyone up week in, week out, getting double goals and assists. He's been at United for 2 years. It's been a car crash. Let's be honest. It's been horrible. He's not played well. He's fallen out with the manager. He's missed a lot of football. He's gone to Dortmund and people try to dress it up like the second coming of Messi and look how good, but it was okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I
he's
mean.
done all right.
That's
And
the thing with the Dortmund tenure, isn't it? I think that is.
yeah,
It wasn't overly great, but also it wasn't overly bad as well.
no,
Like
it was just
you got the extremes, didn't you? People go, "Yeah, it's
yeah.
amazing."
Do
Oh,
you know what it looked like? It
you have
looked
to
like a player
Champions
who,
League,
yeah, yeah.
but
It,
also in the league, and I think he got the same amount of goals and assists as Anthony did during over the 6 month period. Like it wasn't,
yeah.
it wasn't great, but it
He
wasn't
had an
bad
injury. He had an
either.
injury at one point. Couldn't play for a little
Yeah,
bit. It looked like a player who hadn't played since September. who'd been exiled. He's trying to get his confidence back. And when he did get a couple of man of the matches, he looked really happy and celebrated and was singing Adele and stuff like that because of where he's been in his career over the last 6 months. So, but that comes across as like, see, he's back, he's cooking, he's the best. And then you go, oh, actually, after that, he did all right. And again, that's not a stick to beat him with. That's not cussing him. That's just he needs to be in an environment now where he can just focus on his football and rebuild back his career. But he has gone from the £120 million player where we didn't buy him to the £77 million player where we did buy him to, unfortunately, yes, now the £40 million player. And let's be honest, I don't want to write people off, but you look at people who have been up to the pinnacle of like getting in the England squad and doing really well and how it ends up. Mason Mount could be in this category as well. They may never get back in England squad again. Like, let's just be real. Like, they might get a call up here or there, maybe because there's some really good form and you couldn't overlook them. But for those guys, for Mason Mount, and I like Mason Mount, I think he's a good player for us. But for like people like Mason Mount and Sancho as two, like Rashford, he just needs to have a good season again. He'll get back in. But if you honestly look at Sancho and look at Mason Mount, what they would have to do to even get considered again is a lot. And obviously, when the manager changes from Southgate, you can always say, yeah, you never know. New manager, no one thought Conor Gallagher would get in there. Look what he's. I get that. Things change really quickly in England. But how far off it right now they are is incredibly far. They have to get into a club first and play some regular football. Yeah. And that's proven very, very difficult for both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was going to be my thing.
It up.
You said it there, and I think you're spot on. Like, football and evidence of, Sancho and someone like a Mason Mount, not being involved in the England squad or what have you. And even to an extent, Rashford, this tournament, and even like someone like Grealish, football moves quick. Yeah. There are always players coming through. And particularly if you're in the case of like England at the moment, where there's lots of good younger players coming through, they'll leapfrog you very fast.
Easy.
Very, very fast. And the days of, that just, oh, wow, the established players are going to get in. Not necessarily.
No. Do you remember when it was Sancho? Do you remember when it was Sancho and Saka? Do you remember?
Yeah,
They were having little competitions of who scored more goals. And he's like, but how many assists did you get? Do you think that Sancho could ring Saka's phone now and talk about football?
Well, I remember, like
obviously his friends, but like as Ty would say, in football terms.
I remember the last Euros. Again, 3 years ago, because it wasn't even 4, was it? Because it was a year later. 3 years ago, I remember, because that's when United signed Sancho that summer, wasn't it? Of being in that Euro squad, and we were saying during that tournament, he's got to play more. Gareth, why are you picking him? Why aren't you
couldn't
even
get in then?
He couldn't get, but he at the time was like an emergent English. Got to play. 3 years later, we're going, can we get 40 million for him? Obviously, he's not in the
Lingard
squad.
vibes. Lingard during 2018 World Cup was in there. Him, Dele Alli,
Yeah.
And obviously Dele Alli's spoken since of all the stuff he's going through in his life, by the way, that's affected that. I'm not talking about what leads to that. I'm just talking about the fact that it can happen.
Even look at Lingard. Lingard's a great example.
Lingard's a prime example.
Lingard, I remember, again, last Euros, he had that run of form at West Ham, and Gareth Southgate goes, he just missed out because it wasn't long enough.
Just missed it.
He hasn't been back since.
And not back since, nowhere near it, and will never get back in.
Nowhere
going
near.
to FC Seoul or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And being told, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Forest for a year, and they were like, literally, no disrespect, what a waste of money, like it's.
And then you got injured.
And again, that's how quickly football can move, isn't it? So that's why, circling back to Sancho, that's why for him, the next move is key, because he's got to find somewhere.
Play.
In an ideal world, he would be at Dortmund permanently, full time. He'd be playing every week under a manager that he knows. So I don't know if it's him or his agent. They to go, we've got to find a way to do this deal. Can we make that happen?
Good, Man.
Exactly.
So we want 40 million. We don't just want a loan. It's whoever wants to pay the money. However, it's a game of cat and mouse, because if nobody pays it and it's August the 1st and he's still here, because he has to come back and do pre-season with us. He does.
Yeah.
He's got, and it's and also how long that is. There's a decision to be made now, because when he does come back for pre-season, he has to report to Carrington. He has to report to the squad. Is it as you were? There's still been no apology. That decision still hasn't changed. So he's going to be training by himself again. He has to, surely.
Well, it depends, isn't it? It depends if once the team reports back, if it's one of those ones, like when it was a bit like when Eric Bailly left Man United, when they go, everyone's reported back, but not this person because they're
because it's
leaving.
still up in the air.
Because they're
They won't
they're
let
leaving.
him. They can't let him come back in.
But
They
not
can't.
like you said, you can't get to the point where season started, and it's like, wow,
No.
what's going on?
If the season started, he's just going to be exiled again because especially if Eric's there, Eric's still. You think after all of this shit, Eric's going to go,
well,
oh yeah, and that thing, you've come back. Don't worry about that apology. That stood on my hill on all year. Last year.
Exactly.
Don't worry about that.
Exactly.
But I'm just happy that Ineos kept me. Oh, bloody hell, we're both still here. Let's go again. No, he's going to say, that still stands.
Exactly.
I mean, that still stands. Let's get to the super chats. Court Star read that one. So Sunil says they're looking for the next Sir Alex, which they'll never find. There's no perfect manager. Sometimes you've just got to go for better. You just got to go for the better one on offer. Joe Fleming says, I think 40 million is fair as long as there's not a penny less. Yeah, 40. Yeah, I think with the drop off and where he's at, I agree. International says Sancho didn't get a fair shot under Eric Ten Hag because of Anthony. Well, in his first season, like he played, Sancho played.
Well, and also
then
again,
it got to the bit where he had to be off.
Well, it gets back to again. That's when we get into the he said she said stuff again, isn't it? Because he'll believe no, and it's like the thing Benny McCarthy said in that interview the other week. Sancho's like, no, I'm not. I'm not getting.
Yeah, I haven't done nothing wrong.
There's other people are getting preferential treatment, and then from Eric Ten Hag's point of view, it's he's not been applying himself, or he's not been trading hard enough, so I'm going with these people instead. Like. Like that's why I just go. Like it's too much baggage. Like this everyone in general just needs to move on from that one. You know what I mean? Because the last thing we need is once again that debate, like that super chat there, just brings it back up. Going, no, it's because of this. No, it's because of that. No, it's because of that. Well, let's just move on. It's just over. Let's try and find a solution where everyone is happy. And also it's important to consider that with Jadon Sancho again, it's not just. When you assess his Manchester United career, you don't just assess his time under Eric Ten Hag. You assess his whole Manchester United career as well. And his whole Manchester United career, you would say, failed to live up to expectations for a variety of reasons. Jose Mourinho, I think, said it perfectly the other week when he said, it's on Sancho, it's on the club, it's on the managers he worked with. There is percentage of blame all around. Sometimes it doesn't work out. And sometimes you have to know when to pull the plug on something and go, no, it's a write-off now. Let's move on. Let's try and get a solution that everyone's happy with.
We've done it too long with too many other players. Just get rid and start again. Speaking of a multitude of issues, it's everybody's fault. Luke Shaw suggested this regarding his injury. And it's not one of the main headlines. It happened a couple of days ago, but my eyes did raise. My eyebrows did raise when I saw it because I was like, ooh, he's publicly had a go at the medical staff and himself. And a bit of everything. I said I shouldn't. I shouldn't have played. I should not have played in that game against Luton. After that happened to Mitt Villa, I shouldn't have played. So it's a bit of me. It's the medical team. And he goes, they'll all admit that. And he goes, people say about, why am I ready for England and this, that, and the other. He goes, I've been really close to team training. I was really close to coming back. And he's had a swipe. So I thought that was really interesting to see what he said. I mean, Splashnet says Shaw is a loser for that. I just thought it was interesting. This is the first time we've heard a player publicly sort of call out the medical stuff, as well as himself.
I think it is funny, isn't it? Because it kind of just does confirm what lots of people had assumed this season, isn't it? About injuries and what have you. Is that the medical department? I mean. We can't be like, the medical department's shit. And then when the players comes out and goes, I think that one was a bit on the medical department. We go, don't say that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because
is it because of who it's coming from? Because he's always been injured, though.
I don't know. I don't know. Or just because I think you don't like, but no, players say it publicly. It's all right if we say I don't
And also, we all saw how that transpired in terms of we all saw Luke Shaw have to come off against Villa. And we went.
It was weird.
Against Luton, we was like, "Oh, he's back," but I don't know about this. And when you see him just that waddle off when he did, like we spoke about in Trinity, you're like, we knew it. And he's saying, "Yeah, we knew it. I shouldn't have played."
It was weird because, like I said, he came off against Villa, didn't he? And then when I remember in the week leading up to Luton game, we're like, Luke Shaw's not going to start. And then when he did, we went, that's surprising. Oh, he's all right. He's good. Oh, cool. And then he came off after 20 minutes or so against Luton. Everyone went, well, why was he playing then? Because he was injured. And what was interesting with the comments is they echoed the Casemiro story. Like they were very similar to the Casemiro story, which was I felt something. I went to the medical department. They checked me and said, "You're fine." Even though I went, "I don't think I'm fine at the moment." But the difference was Casemiro went, "I don't feel fine. I'm getting a second opinion." Luke Shaw didn't and said, "Well, I still felt
And
something."
listened to them and said, "I'll play."
Manager asked me, so I played, and I made it worse. So once again, it raises serious concerns about the medical department. I mean, I think when it comes to the manager part of it, and I've said this quite a bit during the season, I do look at like if Eric Ten Hag is told by a club doctor or a sports scientist this player is good, then you just go, okay,
Yeah.
okay, cool.
He's not going to go, well, no, get him in here. I need to do my diagnostics and plug him into the machine. And you're the doctor. It's
exactly.
Jose said it. The doctors say, whatever they say, you have to listen.
Yeah, I remember Wayne Rooney said something similar. He said, he's like, when we used to train, and then afterwards we just work on free kicks, work on shooting. He goes, now the people rush onto the pitch and go, they can't run anymore, they can't do anything more. And you go, why? He goes, well, they're sports science people, and they go, this is the maximum amount of time they can have. They've got to rest now. They've got to do this.
And it's a load of bollocks.
Yeah, and Rooney goes, well, I'm not a doctor. Obviously, I'm Wayne Rooney. So who am I? So okay, cool. I guess you must be right. So in that regard, exactly. In that regard, they go, well, I kind of dictated to a little bit there. So cool, whatever. But it does raise, once again, serious concerns about the medical department. And also, you would then look at Luke Shaw in the example of Casemiro and go, no, look, I'm telling you, if you feel there's something up, then just don't listen to him. Go find your own people. But the fact that you have to do that is a massive concern at Manchester United, isn't it? That's a massive concern. I know there's reports been out there saying there's going to be a big overhaul and the changes they're going to see next. We're going to see them next season. I hope so, but that story is very concerning.
Yeah. International. Sorry, Unkwabitsitha. Hopefully I've said your name correctly, bro. If I haven't, I apologize. Says, isn't it crazy we placed Ronnie and Weggy? We replaced Ronnie with Weggy, and now we want Eric Ten Hag out for anyone who will listen. It's sounding very Southgate-y. Hope you're wrong. Hope you're wrong. I hope you're wrong. But yes, that Luke Shaw situation, you're right, Owen. It's just he's basically coming out and saying, cussing the medical team and cussing himself for not taking the action which he should have done, which was basically not play, essentially. Let's see how it changes next season, because we've never seen anything like last season. It was a joke. Yes, a lot of other people had injuries, but the ones we kept having recurring were just an absolute travesty how that could happen. And they said the inquest started into that as well. That's another review that's going on at the moment.
And it does, I mean, if you think about it as well, like it does raise the question, like, look, Casemiro allegedly goes to Spain, has like a scan. They go, oh, yeah, there is something there. Luke Shaw has a problem, goes to medical department, you're fine. Like, what are they looking at?
Exactly.
Like, he played for 20 minutes. He's been out for 3 months. Like,
yeah,
what did you miss? Like,
he's only just coming back now. It's mental.
How are you not seeing that? You know what I mean? It makes you. It really raises
incompetence.
It's not even like little things as well. Going, oh yeah, I didn't really see that well, but he's been out for 3 months. Like,
exactly.
What?
Awful.
It's crazy.
Awful. It's ridiculous. But there you go, guys. Big up to everyone for watching. We did get 690 likes. I think it was Joe Blackman said, we had nearly 2,000 people watching. Didn't even get 800 likes. Disgrace, cheat. Try your best to get us to 750 on the way out, because I know the show's been so riveting and so exciting that you've probably just forgot to press the like button whilst watching and being engrossed in the content. Yeah. So big up to yourself on that. We will see you again very, very soon. Of course, like we always say, if there's breaking news that just can't wait, we will, of course, bring it to you as we do everything else. So, yeah, big up to everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. See you again soon. Peace.